Start recording. Yep, got it. Hello, everybody. Happy New Year to all of you. Welcome back to Spiritual Growth Journeys. I haven't made a video in a while because I took some time off for the holidays, and I'm so excited. I have my beautiful light worker sister Victoria here with me today to talk about her new programs, and we're going to talk about just what I really want to talk about what we both see for 2022 as far as positive things and also negative stuff, but not negative for us, negative for what we call the normies or the sheeple people or the muggles, whatever you want to call them. I'd like to kind of talk about that and then talk about Victoria's two programs that she's offering right now for financial prosperity, which is a pretty big deal. So welcome back to my channel, Victoria. I'm so grateful you're here.
Oh, it's always good to be here, Kimberly. It's actually nice to be here on camera because we talk so much off camera.
Yeah, we do. Yeah, we do. So I'm going to be really blunt with you because I didn't warn you about this, but I'm going to be really blunt about this. So the biggest thing that I see that kind of upsets me is all of the people around me going, "Ooh, the quantum financial system, the quantum," and they're getting they're putting all their bets on that. So like they're betting the farm, betting the farm on that instead of creating their own financial prosperity. So we are co-creators with God. And the universe doesn't just give you hands out, it gives you a hand up. So you need to put work in and effort in. And all these people are just waiting around for like a cure to the financial crisis. Like they're just waiting for, they're waiting for a savior to come in, like a Mr. T or somebody like that to just jump in and save everybody, or a JF, you know who. And they're waiting for somebody to save them or bail them out financially. And that's never really going to happen. Yeah, we might get some money, but who knows when that's going to actually happen. And it's kind of like the people who are sitting here, well, I'm just going to, I have cancer, but I'm going to stop doing my chemo because I'm going to get a med bed. And it's like, well, some people are saying those may not hit Earth for 100 to 300 years. So you're going to be dead before then. So you need to stop depending on a cure, a pill that you take that makes your life better, a financial cure, whatever, a savior that's going to save the world. And you need to step up to the plate. You need to band together with your brothers and sisters to save the world. You need to co-create and manifest with your thoughts, your words, and your actions and your activities. And that is how you're going to create the new Earth and the future that you want. Sitting around waiting for this thing to show up and that program to show up ain't gonna cut it, sisters and brothers. It ain't. It's we're in a place now where you are now 100% accountable for all your actions and behavior, and you're 100% responsible for yourself and your sovereignty. You are a sovereign being. And all of these people, when they're sitting here and saying this person's going to come save me and that person's going to come save me, guess what they're doing? They are giving away their sovereignty. Completely giving away their sovereignty. As a sovereign co-creator with our mother, father, God, or prime creator, I like to call it mother, father, prime creator. I am a co-creator with that being that made my soul. Okay. And in order for me to become financially prosperous and heal my body and improve my life and have a good life, I have to put in a certain amount of effort and work, and I have to combine it with prayer and communion with God, creator, whatever you want to call it. You need to be chatting with that creator every day. You need to be hooking up through prayer or meditation or both. I do both. And you need to be putting your own efforts in. You have to create a plan. Here's my plan for financial prosperity. You can manifest financial prosperity. Why wait around 100 years for somebody to maybe show up someday and give you a Nesara Gesara whatever? And when you can be making millions of dollars right now, all on your own without that, and you're going to feel better about yourself. Because think about how crappy, the majority of people, like myself, I know, if somebody just came and handed me something, it wouldn't mean anything to me. What means something to me is when I put the work in. Like when I spent years of my life, I spent 5 years of my life writing my first book. And then I spent a whole year of my life writing the second book. Somebody didn't ghostwrite it for me. I would not feel very good about myself if I said, here, Joni or Judy or Bob or whoever ghostwrite this book for me, it's not really mine. I can't, it's theirs. It belongs to them. I would have no pride, no love for that, no respect for that, no self, feelings of self-worth. It would take away all my self-worth. In order to get self-worth, you need to do the work, and you need to be responsible and accountable, and actually say, I'm going to take my life by the horns, like a bull by the horns, and I'm going to co-create the life I want with source. Not, I'm going to sit here and eat bonbons and wait for this stuff to drop from the sky that the ETs may give us, which we still don't know until it actually shows up. We don't know if any of it's even real. You don't know if it's real. It could be a psyop that's being played on everybody, and we're all being fooled. You don't really know. So why sit around and wait for some bullshit lie? Or maybe it's truth, but we don't know. We don't know. We really don't know. Okay. And I know people are going to say, oh, I know it's happening. It's happening. And it's like, okay, if you want to sit there and go, it's happening. I've been hearing about this program for over 10 years. I've been hearing about there's going to be EBS, there's going to be 10 days of darkness, there's going to be 3 days of darkness. I've been hearing these terminologies for over 10 or more years. They've not happened yet. Okay. What does that tell you? That's like shame on you kind of a thing. It's kind of like, it's insanity, because insanity is doing the same thing over and over, expecting a different outcome. So if every week you read an email from someone saying it's happening this week, the EBS, I keep getting these emails that keep coming to me day after day saying the EBS is happening on the 4th. Now it's happening on the 10th. Now it's happening on, and every time they put a date on it, it's not going to ever happen. It's not going to happen. Right. So it's just kind of a big joke. And I feel like I'm being played for a fool. So I can't put any energy into this anymore. Instead, I'm going to say, screw this, Italian salute. What I'm doing is I'm creating my life the way I want it. I'm going to work on healing my own body. I'm going to work on connecting with God and co-creating every day. I'm going to work on creating and manifesting financial prosperity, which is what you are an expert at teaching. And we're going to talk about that today. But I'm going to do that for myself. I'm not going to wait around for some savior to come in and do a 10-day of this and an EBS thing. I'm not going to wait for that. The time of waiting is long past, back 10 years ago when they started spouting off all this crap. Okay. It's long past. Their opportunity is gone. Now, if God willing, any of this stuff does happen in the near future and I'm totally wrong or whatever, then hallelujah, praise God. I mean, seriously, it's wonderful. I mean, I'm really glad if it really happens, but I'm not going to sit around in my house waiting for that's like Chicken Little waiting for the sky to fall. Right. You don't want to do that. You need to say, here's the life I want to create. This is what I'm going to do every day. So now that I've said all of that and gotten that off my chest, I'm going to let you. So you have 2 wonderful programs you're doing. One through Jane April's of Spiritually Raw. They have their Ascended Master program, which I'm part of as well. I've got stuff on there as well. And I'm creating a self-healing class for them right now. Okay. And I don't have it. I just started it. So I don't know when it's going to be ready to go, but you have created a class for them. And then you have your own class, your 60 money tree class. So can you share with everyone the names of these 2 and what they entail and how they're going to help people, and just kind of talk a little basics about what are you doing? Where did you come up? Like, I want to know, where did you get the idea from? Because I already know that you're really into all this financial stuff. It's your thing. Since I've ever known you, I've known you almost a couple of years now, at least. And it's your thing. I mean, you're very into financial prosperity. That's like a big thing for you. So I kind of think of you as an expert when it comes to the manifesting of the, money. I see you. That's not my thing. I don't teach people how to manifest money. I mean, I teach general manifestation in general, but I'm not really into financial stuff per se. That's not my thing. I just don't have in it. It's just not my thing. So please share with everyone about your two classes, where you came up with these ideas, how they're going to benefit people that are watching today, like why these are important right now in this time where we need to stop sitting here waiting for heroes to show up and rescue our butts.
Right. You know,
Go ahead.
as you say that, I'm being reminded, the old saying, God helps those who help themselves.
Absolutely.
And it really, we have to keep coming back to that, because it's funny, as you were talking, I was seeing like the handsome prince in his white armor on his horse showing up and rescuing us, like for the damsel in distress. And what I've been preaching, I don't know, for years, it seems like, is that we are the ones we've been waiting for, and that we are the divine intervention we seek. So all that other stuff, actually, when it does manifest, will manifest as a result of our energy being in the position to draw it toward us. That's what people don't understand. They want to sit there in this position of lack and then bring things into their lives from a position of lack. And it doesn't work that way, because our reality matches our energy. So first we have to change our energetic resonance. When enough of us change our energetic resonance about prosperity, that's when the prosperity will show up. And people have it the other way around, where they think they're going to sit there and sit in their pity parties and wallow in their lack and misery and somehow attract into their lives what it is they're seeking. That's not how the universe works. So if we want to bring this Nesara Gesara GCR programs into our physical reality, every single one of us has to do the internal work to change our vibrance so that we actually attract it into our lives. So I'm actually not a money expert. I'm really not. I'm here for the freedom of humanity, which includes mental, emotional, physical, spiritual, and financial freedom. Financial freedom isn't about, the idea of financial freedom is having so much money that you're free, right? It's more about, all of these actually are ultimately spiritual freedoms. Everything ultimately is a spiritual freedom. So for me, when I talk about prosperity and financial freedom, it's not so much about the money part of it, but about our attachments to suffering around our concepts of what prosperity are. So the one program that I just created about a week ago is called Cure Your Money Disease. And it's curing the 7 diseases that are infecting your financial growth. So this is all about understanding that we all have money diseases, if you will. So anytime we have a belief that's based in fear, we basically have 2 primary emotions or resonances on the planet right now. One is love, and the other one is fear. Anything that is not love is fear-based. And we've been living in a fear-based reality for thousands and thousands of years. So the default for most human beings is fear. There were beings here thousands and thousands of years ago who discovered they could use fear as a means of control. So they intentionally use fear to keep us divided and controlled and conquered, and have created all of these fear-based beliefs to prevent us from finding our true, infinite, innate, divine greatness that exists within every single one of us. So all of my programs are ultimately about recognizing what your fear-based beliefs are. First, recognize them, and then work through them and transmuting them into love-based truths, so that these fear-based beliefs no longer have any control over you. And it's really about changing our own, as I said, our own inner resonance about money, that we actually start to attract it into our lives. So we could sit there all day long, we get opportunities all day long, every day. But people don't recognize them, because all we're doing is focusing on the lack. So they don't even recognize an opportunity when it's placed in their path, or they'll recognize and go, oh, but I can't because I don't have whatever. I'm not enough of whatever to be able to even utilize that opportunity that's being set in front of them. But the universe is saying, hey, look, here's another opportunity. And you're going, nah, but it's not the right one. Oh, I'm not ready. Right. It's all this fear-based, all of these fear-based beliefs that we have about ourselves that are actually blocking our own flow.
Absolutely.
So Yeah. So the Cure Your Money Disease program, and that's the one that's on the Ascended Masters store that you and I are both a part of. That one is specific to your beliefs about money, about your own worthiness, about your ability to attract it. So it's all about uncovering. There's actually 7 different diseases that I talk about. It's funny because a few years ago, I thought there was just one, and then I keep expanding as I recognize in my life, oh man, I have that, I have that, I have that. And recognizing what the diseases are, what they look like, so that you can recognize them in your life and transmute them. So what I mean by transmuting them is that everything is easily transmutable with love. Love is the most powerful force in the universe because technically it is all that is. We just need to actually discover that it is all that is. And so, and anytime we're experiencing love, it dissipates darkness. It transmutes fear. That fear and darkness can't even exist in the presence of love and light. But we have to find that inside of ourselves. And so once you recognize a fear-based belief, then you can look at it and go, oh, I see how I have that belief. And then you can transmute that belief with a love-based truth. So one of the ways to recognize that is any belief that is based in fear will cause you to feel small. It'll cause you to feel limited. It will cause you to feel less than. It will cause you to feel lack. It will cause you to feel constrained. So if you think about fear-based beliefs are all these beliefs that cause constriction. It's probably the easiest way to explain it. Love-based truths are all these beliefs that cause us to feel expanded, expansive. Mm-hmm. And so it's really easy if you're having a thought. It's like, how is this thought making me feel? Is it making me feel small, or is it making me feel big? And the truth is always 100% of the time loving. Mm-hmm. And so if we're having a thought, to ask ourselves, is this thought loving? Does this thought make me feel expansive? Does this thought make me feel like giving? Or does this thought make me feel small and limited and constricted and angry and resentful? So it's funny. It's like the angel and the devil thing, right?
Right. Mm-hmm.
Well, the devil, so to speak, sits here where ego is. It sits here on your left shoulder.
There you go.
Angel, which is love and light and truth, sits here on the right shoulder. It's like, oh, which one are you? Oh, yeah, I see. Oh, you're being the mean inner bully guy over here. Right? You have the inner angel over here that's telling you the truth. This guy will always lie to you. It's always a lie. This is always the truth. And it's a matter of, it's not that you turn this one down and don't listen to it, because what happens when you listen to it is that it brings into your awareness where you still have issues that need to be resolved. So you listen to it and go, oh, I hear you. And this guy over here has the solution. Because if we don't know what the problem is, then the solution doesn't work.
Right.
So, but the inner voice of fear can actually bring to the surface and show you where you have issues that need to be resolved. And then over here, your truth, the truth is actually in your core. So it's actually right here in your gut. That's where our truth is. But we might hear it here, but it actually exists here in our gut feelings. That's why science calls it the second mind, because our gut is so powerful.
You have another brain in there, in your stomach.
Right. Well, and the heart too. The heart is actually
heart has its own brain.
The heart also has a mind of its own, if you will. And so if we listen, you can hear it here and understand that the truth is deeper. The fear is only here. It's just this little chatterbox, right? It's just here in the mind, and it's playing around with the ego. The truth is always a deeper resonance that's inside of us. So we might hear it here, but it integrates in our body. And our body is always right. So these programs are really both created to help people understand how their fear beliefs are impacting their financial flow. That's really what the program is on Ascended Masters. It's all about recognizing your fear-based beliefs so that you can work through them about money. The 6D money tree is all about growing your prosperity in the quantum fields or the sixth dimension. So we've been talking about 3D, 4D, 5D. 6D is the next, again, it's not a physical place. These dimensions or densities, as you call them,
It's a consciousness.
Right. They're layers of consciousness. And 6D is the next layer of consciousness. 6D is where the field of creation is. So 6D is where manifestation actually exists. So when we put up our rockets of desire, they land in the sixth dimension, boom, that's where they get created, and then they physically manifest here. So this is about learning how to consciously use the field of creation to manifest into our physical reality. And I use money trees, growing money trees in the sixth dimension, because we have been using trees as an example for prosperity for eons as well. And I think it's because trees they're the most obvious example of what it is to be fruitful and multiplying. Because they're there, we see it. It's big and it's in our face. And we've been using trees, like I said, for thousands of years in our rituals. And I'm remembering back to the original maypole wasn't a pole, it was actually a tree where people would dance around the apple tree, right? Because out of gratitude for this life-giving tree, the tree of life. So it's this idea of using a tree as a way of monitoring what's happening in our prosperity. So this came to me first about 10 years ago. I was out walking around my neighborhood, and this voice, I don't even like to use the word channeling, and I'm going to explain to people really quick what channeling actually is, because this perception of, oh, I'm a channel. Okay. When you're channeling someone, it's literally like tuning a radio station, right? That's really what it means, channel. It's like you're tuning in.
Channel.
That's why it's called tuning in, right? We call it tuning in. I'm going to tune in and see what spirit has to say to me. But instead of it being this way across a radio channel, it goes this way, right? It goes all the way up to source. So we're tuning in, and it's a matter of which channel we tune into that it's called channeling. It isn't some woo-woo new age thing. It's like, no, it's just what channel am I vibrating at?
It's a frequency. It's all about being on a frequency, but you have to be careful. I warn people about channeling. You have to be careful about whether or not if you're on the frequency of archons, AI, negative ETs, demonic entities, or are you on the frequency of God, source, creator in the universe? Because that's the one you want to be on.
That's why I talk about tuning up the dial, right? The higher you tune it up, the higher you go up the frequency. Yeah. So what a lot of people don't understand is that they tune into another fourth dimensional frequency. Well, if you're tuning into just 4D frequency, it's pretty low, especially the lower 4D. That's where
all the demonics reside, and all the archons. And yeah.
So if they're just tuning into lower 4D frequency, they're going to be bringing in, lies, basically.
Well, you shouldn't be tuning into 4D frequency at all.
No, but a lot of people don't even know that they are.
Yeah.
So, for example, a lot of psychics in the past, like the mediums with the crystal balls, and things like that. They're tuning into 4D frequency. That's as high as they're going. And a lot of psychics are going into 4D. Now, a lot of psychics, so since 2012, since the 3D, 4D convergence, and they've tuned into a higher frequency and spirituality, some psychics can actually go higher now. But up until fairly recency, psychics were only tuning into 4D. There's a lot of dark stuff in there.
Yeah, there is. Do you know who Louise Jones is? She's in the UK. So I really like her. I started following her. She uses a crystal ball, like a little small one to look at. She holds it up and looks in it and sees stuff, but she's tuning into really high density. She's working with Arcturians and Pleiadians too. And she's tuning into really high, and all of her information is very loving. She never ever puts out any fear porn or any kind of nasty stuff. She's kind of like a warm, fuzzy grandma, I mean, she's, she's got really, really good energy, but when she's tuning in and she's connecting, because she did a reading for me and it was very, very good and very accurate. And I'm like a psychic fraud buster. I go and I try these people out to see if they're full of SHIT or if they're telling the truth. I want to know if they're the real deal. or they're a phony. And so I will go and have sessions with different psychics just to check them out and spy on them to see if they're giving me accurate info or not.
Yeah.
Because if they sit there and tell me I was a Mayan priestess in a past life, I had several psychic people say, "Ooh, you were a Mayan priestess in a past life." No, I wasn't. I was never a Mayan priestess in a past life. So they're telling me stuff like that because I already know my past lives. I don't need somebody to tell me my past lives because I know them.
Right.
So then I know that they're a phony when they start saying, "Oh, you did this. Oh, and in the 1800s, you were a pirate." And in the da-da-da, and it's like, not me.
That's funny. I wonder what they're tuning into.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I love that term, a psychic fraudbuster. That's really funny. I've never heard that before.
Yeah. I bust so many of them. I really resonate with, what's that famous, what's his name? Illusionist. He was like the first famous magician. He passed away. I think he was killed by the cabal, but, what was his name? He was really good. He was a really good person. The guy who would get into water, he'd get into the booth. He was the first one.
Houdini?
Houdini.
Okay.
So Houdini, I think his family or himself got screwed by a bad psychic. And so he quit his job as a magician for a while and traveled all over the US and world busting false spiritualists. They called them spiritualists back then. He went all over the world busting the frauders. And I feel like I resonate with his energy. I've always resonated with him for some reason. I think I must have known him before I came into this life, because I kind of feel like I'm continuing with that kind of work because I can spot the phonies a mile away.
Wow. That's cool. Yeah. I didn't know he did that.
Yep.
Well, and there's so many of them. That's why I think in New York now you actually have to be a certified psychic, and there are people who go in and you have to
be
go
tested
because there were so many people who are calling themselves psychics and just making money off it. Right. So
yeah. Well, that Long Island Madam that has a show, that she's known as the Long Island Madam, and she does all these readings for celebrities. I just watched one she did for Kelsey Grammer where he was just crying his eyes out, and I'd never watched her before. And so I wanted to see if I felt she was real. I think she's a little flamboyant, like meaning like she has to be in the limelight, like her ego. She's got kind of a big ego, but I do think she's really getting accurate information because her information that's coming through seems to actually be fairly accurate. Yeah, I think the only issue is she's kind of ego, in the ego or whatever. So, that's
but she doesn't have to go that high up either. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So a lot of psychics are just looking at people's timelines. They're not actually looking at spiritual stuff. So instead of tuning in and tuning up, they're tuning into lifelines and timelines.
She was tuning into his family because she's a medium. So she was tuning into the dead family members that had passed over and stuff. Yeah. And the information she was bringing was pretty authentic.
Right. But that's different than tuning into spirit.
Right.
Because I can tune into someone else's higher self. They're actually not that far away.
No, they're not. People think they are, but they're really not. They're really not. They're actually in the same space we're in, but in a different dimension. And there's a veil, that they call it the veil, that separates us from our dead family. And you can pierce the veil really quite easily if you just open your third eye enough and you allow stuff to come through. You can communicate, both ways. So yeah, it's really not that hard, especially because they're literally physically in the space. Everybody thinks heaven's up in the sky or in the stars somewhere. Heaven's not a million miles away up in the sky or the stars. It's literally in the same place that we're walking, just different dimensions.
It's just in a different density. Yeah.
Yeah. And density.
That's all.
Yeah.
So anyway, going back to channeling, I wasn't channeling him per se, but when my ability to communicate was first opened up in the end of 2010. So I think it was about 2011 when I first started communicating with Einstein. So I've discovered that Einstein and I are longtime friends. And for a while, he'd come in and give me a message, and you can hear him giggling every time I talk about him because he's actually a very funny guy. And so I was out walking one day, And the person who taught me how to communicate said, always ask who it is that's talking to you, because they have to identify themselves. And I don't think a lot of people know to do that. They just bring in a message and don't know who it's coming from. And it could be coming from all kinds of imposters. So she had said, when you communicate with someone, make sure you find out who it is. And so I was out walking one day and I was being shown what the quantum field looks like. It's a grid around our planet, the sixth dimension.
Mm-hmm.
And I started seeing how life grows in the quantum field. And I said, well, who is this? And the response was, it's Einstein, silly. Like, okay. And I said, well, why me? I don't know a thing about science. Like, I grew up in a religious cult. We weren't even allowed to learn science. So why are you explaining this to me? And he said, I wanted to explain it to someone who could understand it in a way that anyone could learn it. So
Oh, wow.
he explained this to me in a very simple, easy way to understand. You don't have to have a scientific mind to be able to understand how any of this works. So he showed me how the quantum field works, how our ideas, how every thought and every idea we have gets planted into this etheric field, and how it grows in the etheric field energetically before it manifests physically, which is why we have to be really careful with everything we think, because every thought we have and every word we speak gets planted in this etheric field. And the more energy we put into it, the more it grows. And then it grows there, it physically manifests here.
Yeah, and it creates alternate realities too. And there's actually different versions of me, like hundreds of them in different timelines and what we call parallel universes. And we're actually creating those parallel universes with our choices, our thoughts, our actions, our words, and all that. We actually help create the parallel universes that are different versions of us, having different experiences and different timelines. So,
yeah. So the 6D money tree program, that one's all about how to consciously use the etheric field to grow prosperity in your physical reality. And it's all based on what Einstein has shown me over the years of how to consciously use the etheric field to grow prosperity. Now, it isn't that I'm going to just sit back and visualize this tree growing here and not actually do anything. You know, as I tell people all the time, that if you take a look at the word attraction, the law of attraction, right? Half of the word attraction is action.
Oh, yeah.
Right. So people are like, I'm just going to sit here and attract. Well, okay, you can bring it into your life, but you still have to act on it.
That's what I was saying earlier. You have to do action.
We still have to act on it. So God, source, universe, angels, guides, guardians, the whole gang could be up there helping bring stuff into your life. But if you don't act on it, nothing happens with it.
Yeah, true.
So this is about changing our own frequency and changing our own resonance so that we do become magnetic to that thing we desire. So I call it the 6D money tree because I'm using the money tree as an example of what prosperity looks like. You can look at it there in the etheric fields, but what a lot of people don't understand is that it isn't necessarily the money that they want. It's what money does for them that they really want. And you actually can bypass money entirely.
It's the result of what happens after you use the money, after you take the action of taking the money and doing something with it. What is the final result? That is what we're wanting for. That's so like buying health, buying happiness, buying a new car, buying a house, buying, what is the result? Okay, well, that money allowed me to have a nice house. Okay, it allows me to have a nice lifestyle. It allows me to buy holistic healthcare products that if I was homeless, I wouldn't be able to afford, like vitamin C and vitamin D and all these things that I take for my immune system. So you have to look at what's the end results of that, of the money, not the money itself.
And so the money tree that would grow in the etheric field is a representation of the prosperity we want to have grow in our physical fields. So so one of the things I teach in that process is one, how to, it's actually, it is the most fun. It's so funny. I had so much fun making this program, and I went back and rebranded it, and I was taking like, this is so much fun. I had fun taking the class myself. And the reason is that spirits made it very, very clear. So that the higher we raise our vibration, the more fun we have with things, the more we actually become a match for what it is that we seek. So one of the first words I was shown by my guides is funding. And what I hear is fun, like a cash register, ding. I'm like, okay. Oh, so synchronicity is the funding of the universe. So part of this is we look for synchronicities. So every single day, I look for the synchronicities lining up in your life.
Like 11:11.
And then you see the synchronicities. Oh, okay. So you and I were talking about this the other day. Here's an example of prosperity. So I was having a conversation with myself about 10 years ago when I first discovered the law of attraction, and I first discovered this etheric quantum field. I'm just calling it the etheric field, but 6D because it's technically the sixth dimension. And I had said to myself, I would really like some jewelry. Now, at that time, I was in the middle of a bankruptcy. I was in the middle of a foreclosure, and I lost my business. My husband we had no money coming in, but I wanted some jewelry. And I just put it out there. I want some jewelry. I didn't put any attachments on it at all. I didn't put any attachments on it. I want the money to be able to buy the jewelry. I didn't say that. I said, I want some jewelry. It showed up in my mailbox. My neighbor brought some across the street without me even asking. I was like, how did you know? She goes, I don't know. I just had a feeling that you might be able to use it. I did jewelry and now I still don't wear anything. I've got my earrings and sometimes a necklace. I don't actually wear that much, but I wanted to have some because I was always a tomboy, and I hit my 40s and I went, I think I'm ready to be a girl now. So I wanted some girly stuff, and it just started showing up because I didn't put any expectations on how and where I thought it had to come. And that was part of it, was understanding we actually put restrictions on how the universe provides to us by thinking it has to come a certain way.
Yeah, expectation and beliefs, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we think again, what we're talking about, we think the money has to come from the GCR. We think the money has to come from Nesara. We think the money has to come from winning the lottery. We think the money has to come from, we put this like little blinders on of where we think the money has to come from. And the universe is up there, sources up there saying, yeah, trying to give it to you, but you don't have a very big
block
to work with.
That's a block that we're creating when we do that. It's blocking our prosperity.
Saying, okay, I am open to receiving however and wherever the universe provides it.
But you have to say for your highest good and best interest though, too, because I've heard of people saying stuff like that and then their spouse dies and then they get an insurance policy.
Oh, so you have to put specifics on it. So I've put very clear specifics. I'm open to receiving however and wherever the universe delivers to me with grace and with ease and with clarity and free from harm. Anyone, my harm or the harm of anyone else.
Nobody can be harmed in the process. Yeah, because I've literally seen it happen. I know somebody who wished for $1 million and literally her husband died and she got $1 million, but then she was like suicidal and weirded out because her husband died. So then how do you have fun spending the $1 million when you're now a total basket case and then you're going to die a year later of broken heart syndrome? So,
well, especially if you think you had something to do with it.
Yeah. And then you know that you cursed yourself basically.
So one of the words that I use all the time, and actually have this above my desk, is this what's best and aligned with the highest and greatest good of all concerned? So you ask for the prosperity or bypassing prosperity, this house or whatever it is that you feel the desire of wanting to come into your life, aligned with the highest and greatest good of all concerned. And I think people forget to do that.
Yep. I need to apologize. I'm yawning a bunch. I was actually, just for all of you, just so you all know, I'm not yawning at Victoria. Everything she says is always interesting to me. I always love everything that comes out of her. I'm yawning because actually last night I was upset with, I was sick with an upset stomach until like 4 a.m. So I got hardly any sleep. I went to bed with, I had horrible stomach cramping, like violent. Like I haven't had a stomach ache like this in years. Like my whole intestines were just cramping up and went on for hours last night. So I got very limited sleep. So that's why I'm yawning. I just didn't want people to think, oh, she's yawning at Victoria or something. I'm not yawning at her.
That you were clearing the field for me.
Yeah. Yeah. And sometimes you'll yawn when you're releasing energy, but I'm not doing that either. I'm just extremely tired right now.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't think anything of it because I yawn sometimes when I'm clearing, if I'm clearing energy, you know, and I just kind of go, oh, that's interesting. Every time I sit down and meditate, I yawn a couple of times. It cracks me up, and I finally realized one day that's what I'm doing. I'm just clearing. Right. So don't worry about it. So anyway, the 60 Money Tree program, what it does is it teaches people how to, it's a 9-part program. It's a home study program. You have home play assignments. I don't do homework. I do home play. They're really, really fun. There's 9 teaching modules. There's 9 home play modules. There's 9 home play assignments. There's 9 meditations that go with it. So it's not just like a class that you take and then you study and then you, right? It's just the whole thing. There's the meditation that goes with it. There's an integration meditation that goes with it as well, with every one of those modules to help you integrate the learning. The assignments are really fun. And what they do is it's everything as if you were planting something in a field, right?
Wow. Yeah.
So it's everything from clearing the fields, pulling the weeds and clearing the field and prepping the field and planting the field and feeding the tree and growing the tree and harvesting the tree. It's the entire process of growing a prosperity tree, a money tree in the etheric fields. And that money tree represents whatever it is that you want to manifest in your life, if it's money or if it's something else, because you can use those exact same tools to manifest anything in your life. And so we call it 60 Money Tree, but I think it's really important for people to understand that prosperity doesn't necessarily mean money, that everything in the universe is created to grow and thrive and prosper and multiply.
Yeah, you can have a prosperous, you can have love and, prosperous in love. You can be prosperous in good health. You can be prosperous in friends, prosperous with your family. You can have prosperity with your garden is growing beautiful, flowers by the tons, or vegetables or, whatever. That's also prosperity. You can have a prosperous amount of knowledge. Wisdom is above all the most, if you read the Bible, the story of King Solomon, the reason he got his riches is because when God let him have his wishes, his first wish was for wisdom, not for money and power. So he asked for wisdom because wisdom is priceless. It's the most expensive thing in the universe is wisdom. It's more powerful than gold. It's more powerful than diamonds. Wisdom is, the most, expensive thing in the universe. So you can be prosperous in wisdom.
Yeah. And we use the words wealth and abundance kind of interchangeably. Yeah. So you can have a wealth of knowledge and a wealth of money and a wealth of creativity and right. So when I talk about 6D Money Tree, part of the reason I named it that too is because a lot of people have a negative attachment even to the word money. So for me, the way that I was raised, with the fear of money, the love of money, root of all evil, like I grew up with this belief that money itself was evil. And if I had it, that would make me a bad person. Or that touched that the energy, that money was energetically evil, that even touching it. So I had a hard time even saying the word money.
Wow.
Without it causing the anxiety, because I had so many negative attachments even to the word. So I would use the word prosperity instead of money.
Wow.
Because money felt like a dirty word to me. So I kind of intentionally named it 6D Money Tree. Part of it is to help people get past all of the negative attachments that we even have to the word. As long as we have negative attachments even to the word itself, we'll have a hard time bringing it into our lives.
Yeah, absolutely.
And now down the road, this will not be the case, but right now, money is the greatest resource we presently have for changing the world.
Yeah.
And I started hearing years ago that Mother Earth wants us to have money. She needs us to have money, not the few, but all of us, and especially those who are here to do good works in the world. We need to get out of our own effing way, if you will. So I don't usually normally swear, but get out of our own effing way. Get out of our heads.
I say that all the time.
Stupid beliefs we picked up about what we think money is, so that we can actually have it, and so that we can actually use it. We will not bring Nesara Gesara into our reality until we get out of our own way.
Yeah. I believe that. You know, I almost feel like Nesara Gesara could have happened a hell of a long time ago if society wasn't so brainwashed and having all these wrong belief systems around money. I think if everybody was like co-creating with their thoughts and focusing on the prosperity and focusing on the positive aspects, that we could have actually have made this happen a lot sooner.
Absolutely. Yeah, because what we vibrate at, our resonance, can dissipate we have the controllers, right, who are trying to keep money out of our hands. I'm going to tell you that the love of money as the root of all evil is probably one of the greatest lies ever.
Yep.
And that belief was created specifically for the purpose of keeping it out of the hands of love.
Yeah.
Out of the hands of people.
You can love money. I love money, not because I'm in love with money or I don't worship money. I worship Creator God. But I love money because of what can I do with this money? I can, pay my daughter's medical bills. I can, give it to people who are homeless. I can feed people. I can feed my family. It's what the money does for me and for other people who I can touch and help.
Absolutely.
That's why I love the money. So there's nothing wrong with the love of money. I'm free. I feel free to say I love money, because I love all the good things I can do with it. And I always tell people that money, tarot cards, all these things are all tools, just like crystals. I've got these crystals around me everywhere here. These are just tools. Yeah, I've got my selenite crystal here. I have 2 wands in my pockets. I have a wand in each pocket. Those are tools. Now, an evil black magician or dark magician witch person like a Bellatrix from Harry Potter or Voldemort, they could take these tools and they could do bad stuff. A Rockefeller, a Rothschild person, they can take the money and they can do horrible things with it. But somebody who has a good heart, who's a kind, nice, loving person, can take that same tool, that money tool, and do amazing, beautiful things with it.
Absolutely. So. Yeah. So it's really, I started using the quote a few years ago: the genuine love of money is the root of all transformation. And when we understand what love is, then we start to understand how that quote was actually twisted. The quote actually is: the lust of money is the root of all evil.
How about the worship of money?
Well, but it's lust.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But that one word. So when we go back through like our ancient text, all they had to do, the controllers, all they had to do was change one word here and one word there and one word here to completely change the meaning of a lot of this stuff. And that was one place where all they had to do was change one word from lust to love. And the lust for money, that's it, right? They lust after it. They'll do anything to have it.
Yeah, they'll sell their soul for it too.
Yeah, and rather than the love of money, and then if you go into the Bible and you get the, love is genuine, love is kind, love is, what is it? Love is
Corinthians,
generous,
love is patient, love is kind.
Right.
It's
take
never
that
boastful.
energy of what love is, and apply that to money, and then you kind of go, wow, was I misinformed? Right? We need to learn how to love money. Love it for the incredibly beautiful resource it is, and what it can do for us, and what it can do for the planet.
Yeah.
What it can do for all life on Earth. And that's why I named it 6D money tree, because right there we have to learn how to love that word
Mm-hmm.
and infuse that word with love. And when we learn to love that word, we'll attract more of it into our life, and we'll be able to bring that the resonance of that for ourselves. That, I mean, I'm like, the more people who understand how to change their frequency about even the word money, will begin to attract more of it into our lives.
Yes.
That's what's going to make it, what Yeshua was showing me back in 2012. He showed me flipping the money tables. And he said that energetically, the money tables were going to be flipped. And he was showing me how he went into the temple and he knocked over all the money tables. And that's what it is. So the money tables right now look like this, right? When you flip the money tables, you end up with a vessel.
Yeah. So here's the way I look at it. Is this little corner of the top of this pyramid, if you can see it, is the cabal and the elites.
Right.
And then the base down here are all the slave humans.
Right.
We're going to be on top.
Flip it right side up.
In 5D and where we're going with the Ascension, this is us. We're going to be ruling. And these guys are all being sent off world.
There might be a few of them left.
Yeah, not very many. And we're going to be kicking their ass.
Right. So that's what's happened, is that we're flipping the tables. We're flipping the tables with everything. But I was shown flipping the money tables and how that looks with regard to a money tree.
Mm-hmm.
So the trickle down system we've been sold on is actually feeding up rather than trickle down. They've told us it's trickle down, but the seed, when you plant a seed in the ground, it sends out all the roots, all the nutrients are at the bottom, and they feed up to the top. So they've been telling people that all this money at the top and it's going to trickle down and take care of everybody else. Humongous lie.
That is a lie.
Siphoning from the bottom up. And so if they feel like there isn't enough nutrients at the bottom, they just want to kill everybody at the bottom because they're not feeding up enough nutrients, right?
And they launch a bioweapon to decrease the surface population by 95%.
So they have to take care of the people who aren't feeding enough.
They see us useless feeders, right? Isn't that what we talked about, the Rockefellers or whatever useless call feeders. Us useless feeders? Yeah.
And they don't want to take care of useless feeders. If they're not feeding into the system, then it means the people at the top have to feed them, and that they consider anybody at the bottom to be useless.
Which is why they use mass genocide and eugenics to shrink the population through these things.
Yeah. Well, that's
through the stuff they're spraying and putting in the food and the water and everywhere. And
no, but they only want people around who are going to feed them.
Exactly.
Basically.
Yeah.
So I started getting this visual of what the tree of life looks like, and then that there is, but the part that's missing is the tree part, right? So when the tree grows up, it's beautiful and it's flourishing and it's fruitful and it blossoms and it has more than enough fruit on it to feed all life.
Yeah, I see it like the one in the Avatar movie. That kind of reminds me of the tree of life.
Right. And so that's why I use it. That's why I use the money tree as a metaphor, because we can use that to feed all life. There's actually is no such thing as lack on our planet. We've just been told that.
I'm silencing my phone because it keeps dinging with messages from my husband sending me news reports about a certain thing.
Oh yeah, I had that conversation earlier today with my husband.
Your husband, you're the guy that was your husband, my husband.
And he said to me this morning, he said, "This is who's in the hospital, and this is who, right?" And he said, "And numbers don't lie."
Yeah, they're all lies. All the numbers.
Yeah,
are
and
lies.
I just said, "Okay, well, I got to go now. I have a meeting to go to because I'm not even in a conversation with him." I'm like, "Oh yeah, numbers so lie." Like, yeah. You know what? Numbers might not lie, but they can really be manipulated.
Well, with the money too, the finances, the IRS, which I believe, how do you feel? I'm going to ask you this question. Do you think they're going to be disbanded in 2022? I really feel like they're going down in flames.
A lot of that stuff's going down in 2022.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think everything is collapsing in 2022. And I had seen this for 2021, but we got pushed off. Our whole timeline was pushed forward
We
a
got
whole year.
the whole
Whole
timeline
year.
got thrown off.
Because originally all my prophetic visions were that everything was collapsing in 2021 and rebuilding in 2022. And now I'm seeing everything collapsing in 2022 and a rebuild in 2023. Is that what you're getting as well?
Well, I think we're going to see started some of the rebuilding happening simultaneously.
Yeah, that's what we
Yeah.
talked about earlier. So.
Yeah, I'm seeing it happening simultaneously. So,
Mhm.
so that as it starts collapsing, we don't go into complete chaos. But because it
Yeah.
didn't happen in 2021, it's going to happen much faster in 2022, where they had hoped in 2021 to have it like a more of a slow, controlled collapse.
Uh-huh.
I don't think it's going to be as slow. It's going to look
Now
at,
it's going to be fast.
but
because of the
it's going to look like a
tiger.
building imploding.
Well, that's the tiger. So I just want to point out to everybody out there that we just got out of the Iron Ox or whatever it was called. And the Iron Ox thing was all about stuff going on in the background that nobody knew about, and and keeping everybody in the dark and planning and kind of like lining up all your ducks in the row. And I'm talking about what they call the white hat people, like behind the scenes, they were doing all this stuff. And that was that ox year, and everything seemed to go kind of slow, and we weren't seeing any positive outcomes or any results.
But there was so much going on behind the scenes.
But there was a lot going on behind the scenes, and it's just that you're not going to see it on the MSM because it's owned by the bad guys, right?
Right.
So 2022, though, starting in February, you're going to see our lives just start all of the truth. Like it's going to be a volcano. I was shown visually that all of the truth and intel is going to be like a volcanic explosion all at once, because the bad guys kept stopping us. They were going to release it little bits at a time, but now they've been set back so far and stopped so much that it's all going to be a huge eruption, especially because they were hoping a lot more people would have been woke by now,
right,
or awake. I don't want to say woke, awake. And
they hijacked that term too.
yeah, that's a bad term. So people haven't awakened enough as much as they expected. And so because of that, they're going to have to be shocked. It's kind of like a friend of mine named Asher. He put a post up, and it was talking about basically you can either take the red pill now, or it's going to be shoved up your rear end in the form of an enema. And that's what's going to happen. Is the whole population of Earth is about really soon. I would say between February and April, there's going to be a giant red enema that's coming for all those people.
Yeah. I keep seeing. So I've been seeing some of that too. So what I was shown in 2021 is they wanted to slowly turn up the tap so that people would have time to adjust. But it was still so controlled by the media that a lot of people still didn't get it. Now, a lot of people did see it, but they saw it as conspiracy theories. What will happen is people go, "Oh my gosh, that's real. Oh my gosh, that's real. Oh, I thought that was right." So it's not like it's not like a lot of people have never heard it. It's more that it's the holy cow, that's actually true.
Well, so I think they've already been hearing it from us. I think every one of these people who are sleepies, they have at least one or more of us in their family. Like,
right.
It's
been slowly, they've been, or it's been even like, so my daughter watches TikTok. It's even going around TikTok, but they're flopping it, but that's going around TikTok as a conspiracy theory of, can you believe people actually believe this?
Right. My kids have seen all that.
So they actually are seeing it.
Yeah.
They're just seeing it as if it's false. So the shocker is going to be, oh my gosh, that's actually true. So what did happen in 2021 is that people did get exposed to it. It just didn't get exposed to it in the way we hoped that they would.
They were exposed. I think a few people did wake up. I really do. I think some way because I had clients I was counseling who literally told me that they just woke up like 3 weeks ago, 2 weeks. I had one who called me and said, "I just woke up 2 weeks ago and I need your help." So, I mean, it did happen last year, but this year is going to be where all the light workers have to get really busy, because we're going to have to calm people down and do a lot of healing work.
Well, and there are a whole bunch of light workers that got the sleep mask put back on them.
I
Right.
noticed that there was a bunch. I
Yeah.
actually had friends who were awake and then they were so disgusted with what happened that they're just like, screw it. And they went back to sleep and they went out and got this thing and all
Mhm.
kinds of stuff.
Well,
Yeah.
I don't necessarily that they didn't go back to sleep. So they're
Yeah.
spiritually awake. They've already done a lot of their 4D processing, right?
Right.
But so I call it the like tanning goggles. Right. So they just put goggles on.
Or what about blinders?
And, oh, take the goggles off and go, oh my gosh, I'm back, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that stuff actually is correct. Okay. So, but it's not like they're brand new waking up and have a whole lot of work to do. It's just like, oh, I can see the light again. Okay, cool.
It's
So
like
they're
they
back
took a
on.
vacation from all the madness.
Yeah. And so there are a bunch of light workers that got swooned in by the whole anti 45 stuff and all that, right? So they're spiritually awake. They've done years of processing their stories, and they're spiritual healers and spiritual teachers and all that. They just got taken over by what I call fear disguised as love. Because the fear is so good at speaking a loving language that's why they got swooned on the other side, and they have no idea that they've been swooned by the darkness because it paints itself so well as love.
Right. I wanted to put in the fact that I know a whole bunch of people who, after Mr. T started promoting like crazy this thing, after he started telling people, oh, go, go get it, and I got it, and da 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 da, and he even argued with or talked with Candace Owens about it, whatever. After that, a whole bunch of people who were on like, our team or whatever just said, I'm done. Yeah, I'm done. I'm not gonna, because he's not, it's like, this is just all a big lie and I'm tired of being duped and da 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 da, and they just quit.
Well, so this is
Like a
what we were
bunch of
talking
people
about at the
quit.
very beginning. People keep looking for a savior to rescue them.
Mm-hmm.
And then my book Rise Up is all about that. The entire last chapter is stop looking for someone else to rescue you. He did not come here to rescue people. Jesus isn't
No.
going to descend from the sky and rescue people.
No.
We're it, people. We are the ones we've been waiting for. We have to stop looking for someone else to rescue us, and we have to listen to our own inner guidance. But people keep looking for somebody else to tell them what to do, somebody else to tell them what to think.
Yeah, there's
And
not one person. It's like, think for yourself. I keep telling people, you got to do critical thinking and you got to think for yourself, and you have to have some sort of consciousness about, I mean, it just,
and stop with this stupid hero worship.
Yeah.
Right?
Stop
that
putting
was a part of
athletes and celebrities up on podiums and all these people that everybody worship. It's like, no, you're supposed to worship God. You're not supposed to worship. What do you think?
The 2022 message I put up on my Spirit Lift Sunday was all about that. Was the message that came through from me about my insights for 2022 was that all those people we put up on this mantle are going to be taken off the mantle, and Mother, Father, God's going to be put back up on the mantle.
Well, that's the way it should be,
because that's dismantling all those heroes. And we have taken all these people and put them up on a mantle like they're somehow better. And I'm sorry, that includes number 45 as well. People worshiping him like he's the savior. We have to stop doing that. And understand that we are all, like you and I both been saying this for years. We're the ones we've been waiting for. And I think people are finally starting to grasp what that means. Oh, we actually are the ones we've been waiting for. Yes.
Yeah, we're the ones that need to plant the seeds with all of our family and friends. We're the ones that need to stay strong. We're the ones that need to co-create together with God to see
with
what
each
the
other.
new earth looks like.
We're all intercreating with each other. Sit around and I wish somebody else would. We have to stop saying that. I wish somebody would do da da da. Okay, you know what? There's actually nobody named somebody. So we're all the somebody.
We are the somebody. Absolutely. Yeah. I'm somebody, you're somebody, we're all somebody. And it's just like my boss, Yeshua, told me when I started doing all my healing work, he said, and he was really stern about it. He goes, you are not a lone wolf, Kimberly, even though the wolf's my spirit totem. Right. He's like, you're not a lone wolf. You're supposed to collaborate with all of your sisters and brothers, because he said the only way we're going to save the planet is we all have to work together. And that's what he
Right.
told me.
Yeah. The
So,
emphasis for this year was we with a capital
it's a
W,
we,
capital E.
we,
We are the ones we've been waiting for.
well, just like the
Not
conference.
me, not you.
Yep.
We collectively are the ones we've been waiting for, and we have to
Yeah.
start getting together and coming together on projects. We're, the word I started hearing a few years ago is intercreating. And I've been talking about that for years. We are intercreating a new reality.
Yeah.
And that we have to get that 2022 is when we get serious about intercreating our new reality.
Mhm.
And we'll be working on projects together. And it might be me here in Southern California, you there in Washington, my friend Leah in South Africa, because one of the gifts the internet has done for us is made it possible for us to integrate with people all across the world. It may have been created as a means of being able to spy on us, but everything has two sides to it.
Yeah, I think they
And
created the internet
can
for
use
bad purposes, but the good side used
but
it.
nothing is ever bad. Even but the message I got loud and clear in 2020 was that light can work wonders under the cover of darkness, and that we can use their tools against them. We use their technologies against them. So they laid out all these amazing technologies for us.
Mhm.
We just have to learn how to use them.
Absolutely. Yep. Absolutely. Looking at how are you doing on time? I want to make sure we're doing good on time. I'm okay.
I'm okay. I can do a couple more minutes and
I can do a few more minutes. So, do you have any words of wisdom for everybody before we tell everybody where to find your two prosperity programs? Do you have any words of wisdom to help people for 2022? Because I'd kind of like to focus on that. Like, what are some things people should be doing to make things better? Or, yeah.
Well, the most important thing, one, again, as we talked about, is to stop waiting around for somebody else to rescue us and understand that we are the ones we've been waiting for. Reach out and find a system that is calling to you, and reach out to other people in your community. If you have if you're, for example, if you're a nurse and you no longer like the medical system, find other nurses in your community and start creating your own medical concept.
Mm-hmm.
If you're a teacher and you're a parent with kids in the school system, instead of complaining about the school system, reach out to other parents and other teachers and create your own learning system, your own learning model. So instead of just talking about what's wrong, we need to actually move into action and
take action.
Begin. Right. So that's one of the things I talked about too in my insights for 2020, is that this is a year of taking action, divinely guided action. So the energy of action is the divine masculine. The energy of being is the divine feminine. So the last couple of years have been about sitting and being.
Mm-hmm.
And now we're being asked to move into divine action.
And that's what the year of the tiger, starting in February. I don't know the exact date that launches, but in February, the Chinese year of the tiger is all about action and things moving very fast.
Yeah. So we need to be willing to step into action instead of complaining about what isn't working and not just visualizing what we want things to look like. It's actually time to start acting upon it. So start having active conversations and getting together and heartstorming, as I call it, rather than brainstorming, and heartstorming what we want our new modalities to look like, and actually start creating them. There's absolutely no reason that you can't have 50 parents and a dozen teachers all get together and say, great, we'll start our own school. And instead of complaining about how the school system isn't changing, create your own. Instead of complaining about the medical system, get together and create our own, because what we're going to be doing is creating an entirely new infrastructure on top of the existing one.
Mm-hmm. And eventually the existing one is going to disappear and all the new ones will take over.
Yeah. So it's interesting. The visual I'm getting right now, I'm being reminded of how, like, they're excavating in Mexico City and they find out underneath Mexico City, oh my gosh, there's a whole nother city underneath Mexico City. Mm-hmm. Well, all they did was build a new city on top of the old one. That's what we're doing. We're building a new reality on top of the existing one. And eventually the old one's is going to disappear. But the old one's not going to disappear unless we actually start actively creating a new one. As long as we're just complaining, all we're doing is feeding complaining energy into the old one. So it is that truth that we get more of what we focus on. So if all we're doing is complaining and focusing on what's not working, we will just keep getting more of that.
Okay.
We have to start getting together and saying, okay, we know what doesn't work. Now let's talk about what does work and actually start creating it. So this year is going to be all about actively creating our reality. Wow. And we don't have to wait for Nesara Gesara, all this money to flow in, because all the resources are already there. There is source, resource, and resourcefulness. That's it. And when we gather together, we have source, right? Which is the source of all that is. We bring together our resources and we bring together our resourcefulness. We can make anything possible.
Absolutely.
So we have to stop just complaining about what's not working and wishful thinking about what we want and actually start.
Get busy.
Happen.
Yeah. Get busy. Get off your duff and make something happen. And don't wait for the hero to show up. Why don't you guys all, everybody who's listening, make yourselves into the hero. You become the hero.
We're all intended to find the hero within ourselves, the heroine within ourselves. Absolutely. When we're the one, we came here. This is what we came here for.
Yeah.
We came here to be we're the volunteers, right? We came here to actually build a new reality. We didn't come here to complain about the old reality.
Sit back and whine that everything sucks.
It's like I've been saying the last couple of months. We came here to be light workers, not light.
It's an action term. It's an action term, right? It's not a light sitters or light do nothingers. It's
light waiters.
It's workers. Yeah, exactly.
So this year, the light workers are going to actually get off our duffs and get to work. Yep. And a lot of that is going to require people to really dig deep into whatever their beliefs are that is stopping them from getting to work. So what is it that's stopping you? That's what people need to get into, is what is it that's stopping me? Because if anything that's stopping you is actually a fear-based belief. Yeah,
you have to get out of your own way, and your own way is the blocks and the walls that you're putting up, and you're doing it yourself. I mean, but some of them are subconscious too. So that's one question I have for you, Victoria, is when you're teaching your programs, are you teaching people how to identify the blocks and how to take them away and clear them?
And how to recognize the unconscious ones.
Yeah, it's really important. I mean, because I'm going to be creating a manifesting program in the future. It's not about money. It's just general manifesting, but I'm going to be trying to really work on how do you take away the blocks and clear them, and how do you, get rid of them.
So that's actually just one of the modules. It's clearing the field, right? It's prepping the field for growing new life. So recognizing the beliefs, and it's about clearing the clutter, which is also mental clutter, spiritual clutter, physical clutter, financial clutter, all that stuff actually stands in your way of your growth. So like I said, this program is about growing prosperity, but as you're going through this program, it actually affects every area of your life. So it's actually a life transformation program. The focus just happens to be on money.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Victoria, for coming on here with me and having this discussion and conversation. We always have great conversations. Where can everybody find you? And I will put the links in the description too, but where can people find you and find the classes? Okay. So the Cure Your Money Disease, that class is on Ascended Masters store, and you have the link for that. The Money Tree program is 6dmoneytree.com. Okay. And you have the link for that one as well. And actually, I think you have the affiliate links for both of those. So for all of you who are watching, please use the affiliate links. This is how we create a win-win-win for everyone. This is how I support Kimberly's work, and this is how Kimberly supports my work. And together we support all of your work. These affiliate links are something that was created for all of us to collaborate and cooperate, create a more cooperative world. So
So use those. She'll provide them for you in the comments, I'm sure. And then for any of my other programs and services and all my books and all my goodies, you just find me at victoriareynolds.com.
Awesome.
Oh, and my book that I mentioned earlier about what's happening in the world right now, that is a free book on my website. If you go to my website, grab your free book, and that signs you up for my newsletters, which are free and they're inspiring. I don't use them to sell crap.
Right. Yeah, me neither. And also your YouTube channel is Fearless and Free TV.
It's Fearless and Free TV.
Yeah. So please subscribe to Victoria's YouTube, Fearless and Free TV. You can look her up on YouTube, but she puts wonderful videos and she interviews people just like I do on her channel, and she gets a lot of really cool people on there. So please watch that. And then don't you do private sessions too for different
private sessions too?
Yeah.
Yeah. I focus primarily on issue resolution.
Okay.
So I work with a person's higher self and with the higher selves of other people involved in the situation. Sometimes I'll bring in ancestors or loved ones, and then I use it with a combination of spiritual psychology. So, and I have a very active third eye, so I can see what's going on in people's worlds and help them navigate whatever it is that's going on in their personal lives.
Yeah, you have a lot of the similar gifts and things that I have.
Yeah, but I don't do a lot of the same stuff that you do. I don't work with the crystals. I don't do Reiki or any of that. It's primarily it's just spiritual counseling.
Yeah.
But the difference is that, and I can do a little bit of life path, but what I find really people come to me with is if they have a very specific issue that they need resolving, and
especially around fear
resolution.
Yeah, especially around fear. You're really good at clearing fear, helping people get over fears and stuff.
Yeah. So my primary focus is fear-based, what I call fear-based beliefs. So I help them recognize what the fear-based beliefs are, and then how to change those fear-based beliefs into loving truths. And it completely transmutes whatever the situation is.
Awesome. You know, I just want to point this out really quick for any of you, because it's a new year and a lot of us got porky pig fat after eating all the treats at Christmas time. A lot of us ate a lot of chocolates and goodies and pies and cakes and food at Christmas and put weight on. One of the biggest things that prevents you from losing weight are subconscious fears. And also conscious fears too, and belief systems, like wrong belief systems, like, you know, oh, this won't happen unless I'm thin, or I'm too fat, or I need to be a certain way, or all of these beliefs. And so Victoria can help you with that type of thing. If you're somebody who you need to lose weight, but you're being held back by some sort of belief systems or fears or something, then Victoria is going to help counsel you through that so that you can lose the weight. So that's important to know, because it's that time of year again. New Year's resolution. I think almost everybody's New Year's resolutions always include, I need to lose weight. I swear. It's like, it's on everybody's list.
Here's part of the issue with that. I'm going to put that right up front. People want to lose weight. Got to change the verbiage around that, because when you lose something, a part of you is going to try to find it again.
How about I'm going to be my healthy weight, or I'm going to create my healthy weight.
So you got to change the verbiage, what it is that you're bringing, what it is that you want to call forward into your life. Now, I gratefully release and let go back into the universe any excess weight I brought forward. That's another way to do it. I pass it forward. I let go of my excess weight and I give it to someone else who can use it. But so that way, if you lose it, you're going to try to find it again. So let's not try to lose our weight. Let's just let it go with grace.
Kind of like losing your virginity or something. Oh my gosh. Or you lost a piece of jewelry or something. You want to find it again. Yeah, that wouldn't be so good.
It's just changing the basic languaging and realizing how silly some of our languaging is.
Yep, absolutely. Well, I'm going to get going because I'm going to make dinner here in a little while for my family. But Happy New Year, Victoria. I hope it's a healthy, happy, prosperous one for you and your family. And the same to all of you watching. May you have a beautiful 2022 that's filled with love and hope and joy and health and happiness and prosperity and all good things. And let's all visualize and co-create our 5D Earth together, you know, what we want to see, and see all of the dark systems collapsing, you know, all of the bad political systems collapsing, literally visualize all of the bad systems collapsing and all the new ones coming online. Like, see what the world looks like when everyone is peaceful and harmonious and we're all unified as one human race, because we are the human race. We need to end all of this black, white, yellow, Christian, Jew, Islam, blah, blah, blah. We need to end all that, because that's what's separating, you know, Democrat, Republican, all that has to go away forever, because those are all created constructs by the bad guys to separate us and cause wars and fighting and murder and death and destruction and unhappiness. And the only way that we're going to create new earth is we need to come together as one human race, and we need to drop all of the bullshit judgments and all of those separating all of the things that separate us from each other, because there is no separation. We are all children of God, children of Creator.
Yeah.
So when God looks at us, and when the angels look at us, and when Christ consciousness or Yeshua looks at us, they don't see us as, oh, there's Black people, there's Jewish people, there's white people, there's Asian people. They don't look at that. They say, oh, there's all of our children. There's all the humans down there. Look at all those stupid humans that are acting ridiculous and fighting each other and causing wars and destruction and raping and pillaging. We need to end all of that by all coming together as humanity. And so please, all of you, the one thing I'm going to ask you to do is try to spend at least a minute of your day every day visualizing this new earth that we want to create, because that's going to help us get there a lot faster.
Yep.
Yep. Yep. And I'm sending all my love to all of you, and to you, Victoria, across the distances. And please like this video, share it with whoever you think it will be helpful to, and subscribe so you know when, and hit the bell, the notification bell, so you know when new videos are coming on, teaching you new information. I'm going to be doing some videos on biblical stuff, esoterics, all kinds of cool stuff. I got this formula that I'm supposed to give you guys. It's a code, actually a healing code I'm supposed to give you guys to help you have success with healing yourself. So I'm going to be doing that. There's just a lot of things that are coming to this channel. So make sure that you hit the notification button so you know when they're coming, and also go to Victoria's channel, please. And also sign up for her 2 courses, because I know they're going to be amazing and wonderful.
And fun.
Yeah, thank you. And we'll see you all next time. Bye.
Bye.